Although the best thing to do when reprogramming yourself is to work with someone who is like an NLP coach or a hypnotherapist, there are different things you can do to still get that leveraged effect in reprogramming yourself. Today, I'm going to expose to you 3 different ways you can reprogram yourself at home. And no, it's not going to be something like visualization or affirmations, even though those work. Today, I'm going to expose 3 different ways that you can do at home that you maybe have not heard of and the science behind why. Let's get to it. First thing we're going to talk about today is changing your handwriting. Now that may seem like really crazy, but there's a big reason why there's detectives that specialize in just handwriting analysis. And the reason being for this is your handwriting is basically your thumbprint. It is an ideomotor response, meaning that it comes from your subconscious mind and it will literally reveal what your conditioning and pattern is. It's pretty crazy, right? And so today we're going to just expose one letter that if you change the way you write this, it will boost your confidence, and that is the letter T. Now, the letter T actually tells us so much about our programming, and I felt like this was a really great letter to bring up because a lot of us are entrepreneurs and we're working towards a lot of big dreams, and who doesn't want more self-confidence and a boost in their self-esteem, right? And so I'm going to have you guys do a quick activity with me to help you understand like where your programming is based off of your own handwriting analysis. So go ahead and write 3 different words. Go ahead and write like teach, to, and the. Those are all like 3 quick, easy words that everyone probably knows how to spell. Either way, even if you didn't, the most important thing is just make sure that T is lowercase. We're taking a look at how you write your T's, right? And so there's a few different things about our T's. The very first thing is the letter at which the height at which the stem is. Stem being like this part of the T, right? Not the cross, but the stem. And so how high you make the stem is your level of self-esteem, how much you feel about how people think about you, etc., right? There's a difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. Now the cross, how far apart you do, or how long you do the cross, resembles your level of self-confidence in relation to your goals as well, most importantly. So self-confidence in general, but definitely in relation to your goals as well. And so if we take a look at your T's, we can see your level of self-esteem with whether if you're writing on lined paper, if your stem is just standing up straight, fills the whole line, then that's great. If it's less than the whole like line there is, then you know that you have a little bit less self-esteem, and that's something that you'll want to work on. If it's maybe above the line, then maybe you have like a really strong boost of self-esteem, and maybe some people think you're arrogant, which whatever, right? And so next thing we want to take a look at is the stem. Not the stem, but the cross. The cross is again resembling our self-confidence level. And so if we take a look at our self-confidence in general, but specifically attaining to our goals, we can take a look at the cross and we can see how long that cross is. When you write the cross, is it shorter on one side or is it longer on the other, right? Like I noticed for me, I had really short crosses, and there was barely anything on I think it was the left side. Yeah, there was barely anything on the left side. So that showed that like I had some self-confidence, but I wasn't like 100% there. And that was kind of shocking to me because I thought I did, right? But that also explained to me like why certain things were happening whenever I would take action that I thought was caused from something else. But really this handwriting revealed to me my subconscious programming. I actually didn't have full confidence in myself. So go ahead, take a look at the crosses. Now, another thing about the cross is the level at which how high it is, right? So if we're writing on lined paper, and we can all go back to like, I don't know, like first grade or something, and we can imagine like those dotted lines in the middle, is your cross on that dotted line or is it above your dotted line? Because if you are writing and all those T's are above the dotted line, it shows that you have a habit of setting goals consciously that your subconscious is not going to allow you to achieve, right? You're setting goals that quote unquote are too big for you, but I'm not saying that they're too big for you to achieve because they're not. It's just that they're too big for your programming to achieve. So the goals that you have set for yourself, you need to change your programming to achieve them because right now they're set too high with your current programming, if that makes sense. If not, comment down below and I'll explain that more. And then last but not least, the third thing we want to pay attention to, the stems, is the level at which, not just how far across they are, but if they're more exaggerated on one side than the other. Because if there's more T crossed on the left side, and it's short on the right side, then that shows that we tend to have a problem with like procrastinating and things like that, which stems from a lot of other different things, but it shows that you are procrastinating, right? And then the vice versa is true. So if you have more slant on the right side and barely on the left side, it shows that you're kind of like really anxious to get there, right? So that's something that if you get in the habit of making your T's, you know, making sure that they're tall, they're crossed in the middle, and that they're even, you are forming a balanced level of self-confidence, balanced level of self-esteem, and that reassurance in yourself that I can accomplish anything that I set my mind to, okay? And you're not procrastinating, but you're not ahead of yourself, panicking, anxious about things. So that's something you definitely want to do. Be conscious of the way you're crossing your T's. Also, side note, if you write out a goal you have, I guarantee, like in a sentence, I guarantee that there is a letter T in it. Take a look at the way the letter T is written when you are talking about your goals as well. That'll really, really narrow in how you feel about that, right? And so going into number two is a sleep hypnosis. Now, I just made a whole video on why programming yourself right before you go to sleep is the best time of the day and the science behind why. So I will link that video above and below to make this one short and simple. But basically, we are most suggestible right before we go to sleep, and that has to do with the level of brainwave activity that we go in. And so I included a free tool for you guys to use, a sleep hypnosis based around money and prosperity, right? I'm trying to hit like all levels, like your confidence, your money, your bag. So that one's going to be linked down below for a free download. And what it does is it has created structured affirmations that make you even more suggestible to what's being said because of the way they're structured, in addition to your brainwave frequency, so that you become more prosperous, you become more abundant, because of course it's reprogramming your subconscious. Now, there are a ton of things that obviously we want to reprogram ourselves about and things that we're working towards. So if you would like your own custom-made sleep hypnosis, go ahead and book a consultation down on my website, and we'll talk more about like what it is that you're aiming towards. We'll talk more about your specific suggestibility, and so that we can really make that a perfect custom leveraged fit for you. So that's number two. Is sleep hypnosis is priceless. Again, it's down for free in the description below for you guys. Now, before we get into number three, I would like to mention my newest book, Reinvent Yourself, Achieving the Impossible Using Science, because since we're talking about done at home ways to reprogram yourself, there's like literally over 20 different ways that I talk about how to reprogram yourself on, the science behind why, how to do it, and when to do it, in addition to identifying like what it is that you even want to program yourself for. So the book is a phenomenal tool that is obviously not free, but is well beyond the investment, which will be linked in the description below. If you're liking some of these tools already, be sure to definitely get the book, because there is an abundance of tools for you to use at home in order to recondition yourself to experience what you truly want in life. The third thing is more so of a habit, and that is to adjust resistance properly. Now, anytime we do something new, even if it's something we consciously want and are somewhat familiar with other people doing, it's still new to us. No matter what, we will face resistance. And the reason being for this is that we have to maintain homeostasis, not only physiologically, but mentally and emotionally as well, because that creates just the way your whole body functions, to keep it simple, right? And so if we throw ourselves in a culture shock, right? We try to just incorporate this big new miracle morning into our routine without just taking one step at a time, or all of a sudden try to take massive action and do like 100 sales calls a day when maybe you're only used to doing like that in a week or something. That is going to throw your body into shock. And although you may be able to do it for a short while, no matter what, it's going to throw your body into shock, most importantly, and your body has to fall back into homeostasis. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of subconscious self-sabotage. And this is where a lot of people feel like, oh my God, every time I get close to something, I experience a lot of self-sabotage, right? And the main reason for that is because so many people try to go too fast, too quickly. And when I was new into reprogramming, I definitely fell like victim to this, right? I felt fault because I was very unhappy with who I was, and I just wanted to just recreate myself, right? But the thing is, like, we have to learn to love ourselves right now, who we are, and then adjust that resistance very slowly. Because when it comes to reprogramming ourselves, slower is faster, because when you go fast, you literally uproot all the progress you made in self-sabotage, and then you reaffirm the fact that this is too hard, I can't do it, or that it forms like all different types of depression for a lot of people, right? Because there's this huge spike in behavior, and then they can also get misdiagnosed for like being bipolar or like all this other crazy stuff, when really they're just going crazy with the reprogramming and not adjusting resistance properly. And so the most important thing you can do is adjust resistance properly, lean into new things every single day, consistently, but in short increments, right? And so build yourself up to it. If you're trying to smoke, like when we do hypnotherapy and we're helping people stop smoking, we don't just cold turkey them, hell no. We start with cutting the cigarette in half at the time of the day where they're usually not used to smoking, but it's still somewhat of a habit, right? We don't start with the number one time of the day where they love to smoke and just rip that out from them. No, because that's too painful and it throws off all different things in your body. There's so many chemicals and neurons that are associated with how we think and feel mentally and emotionally. And so it's not just about homeostasis physiologically. It's not just about maintaining your blood pressure. Like, we have to make sure that we are resisting or adjusting that resistance very incrementally and slowly. Slower is faster. I cannot address this enough. So these are 3 very easy ways that you can use at home by yourself. You do not need anybody to teach you how to do these things, but these are ways and free tools that you can use at home right now. Like I said, if you want a custom-made sleep hypnosis, one that is catered specifically to you, be sure to book a consultation on my website down below. My book will also be linked, and that sleep hypnosis for free is also linked. I would love to hear in the comments like what you guys learned about your handwriting today, if you want me to go more on depth in any of these subjects, and any other questions you have about reprogramming yourself or hypnosis in itself, right? So that's all for today. As always, be livers, dream big, live large, and be live. Bye.